Hey, what's up everybody? Man, Josh is one of the most knowledgeable guys I know in this industry, and it's really amazing to see him now, because I remember when Josh first started working here, and to see the growth that man has had within this industry and within this career. Monumental. Man, it's super inspirational, and I'm happy that I get to work next to that guy. And I hope that you enjoyed his dissertation to the last word. Now, let's talk about the vesper. I'm going to grab one of these nice glasses over here that I actually brought this one in from home. I love this glass. I got this on eBay. I'm a big fan of vintage glassware, so I figured I would bring a glass set. Now, I'm going to do the same kind of ordeal that we had here with Josh. We're going to go through first. We're going to make I'm going to demo the cocktail the way that I would make it if you guys came into the bar, said, hey Matt, I would love a vesper, and we're going to put just like a little bit of twang to it. And I really love this cocktail for a couple reasons. The first being that, you know, like with the last word, like many classic cocktails, you have the situation where you have a bartender, the bartender goes, I really like these ingredients, or you have a patron that really likes these ingredients, like Hemingway, or like the monologuist, or you know, you have a guy that's just an enigma of a bartender, or she was an enigma of a bartender, and they thought these ingredients go really well together, and they work really hard, and they create a cocktail that withstands the test of time. And people are still making these cocktails today. Like Ada Coleman made the Hanky Panky, for instance, and that was like her claim to fame that even made it into Harry Craddock's book, after Harry Craddock kind of shows up on the scene in the late 1920s, as Prohibition comes in and he moves to, you know, London. Anywho, you see these cocktails over time that stand the test of time, and we still make them today. The Vesper is one of those cocktails too. But the big difference about the Vesper is an author came up with this. Now, Ian Fleming, whenever he created the first Bond novel, Casino Royale, thought, Bond is a really suave guy. We need a really suave beverage for Bond. So what does he do? From his armchair, he creates a beverage. I'd like to think that he was hanging out in bars writing the first Bond novel and trying different cocktails. Now, the original Vesper, if you have read Casino Royale or you've watched one of the two movies, either the original or the new Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, you would know that the Vesper is a shaken cocktail. Now, one of the reasons for that is back in the 50s, the only vodka that you would have found in Europe at the time would have been potato vodka. And there's a thing about potato vodka, especially at the time, very, very oily. Now, you would want to get a very vigorous shake to kind of break up those esters and make it more palatable and like a smoother mouthfeel. Today, you show up to a cocktail bar and you order a Vesper, you're almost guaranteed to receive a stirred beverage, because we as bartenders and as booze nerds have decided that's really the way that we should do it. We should stir it. It has everything about a stirred beverage. Today we're going to meet in the middle, and we're going to throw the cocktail. And I don't mean we're just going to chuck it across the room, although that would be fun if we did it in that way. That being said, I'm going to show you guys an old technique, and we're going to get into the cocktail. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and grab out of our well one of our ingredients. Now, you guys just kick back, enjoy your last word, enjoy your munchies. I'll go ahead and make this one, and don't forget, if you have any questions at any point, write them down. We'll be there at 9 o'clock, ready to answer any questions you may have. And can't say how excited we are to be able to interact with you guys in this way. So I'm just going to make one, show you guys how to make one individually. We'll come back with the tools that you guys have been provided, and we'll go from there. So that being said, let's go with our Lillet Blanc. This is a French fortified wine, and I always like to go with ABV, the lowest ABV to the highest ABV. it's a personal preference. It's not, I mean, it's like chilling the glassware. It's just something that I came up with, something I like to continue. And we'll go with that 3/4 ounce of Lillet Blanc. It's Sauterne-based for those of you that are into the grapes. Now we're gonna go with 3/4 ounce of our Castle and Key vodka. This is rye-based, and there's some malted barley in there as well. No potatoes, not quite as oily as that stuff from the 1950s that James Bond would have been drinking if he were not a fictitious character. That is, unless you believe James Bond is real, and I'm sorry that I just shattered your dreams. And we're going to do 2 ounces of our Castle and Key Springtime Gin. You can make this with the Restoration in the future, but the Restoration I think is better suited for cocktails like The Last Word. This Spring Gin has a much more floral approach, which I think really lends itself to the Vesper, which is partially why we chose to do this way. Now, we've got 2 ounces, and we've got that right in. So we're gonna add our ice, and we're gonna start the throwing process. Now, I have a julep strainer. These were originally meant for sticking into your mint julep cup and drinking. Nowadays, they're used predominantly for straining, although I do like a mint julep with a julep strainer in. So we're gonna go ahead and fill our ice up. Now, this tin right here is gonna stay empty, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna work the cocktail across the way. So we're gonna get a firm index finger right on top, right like so. And we're just gonna slowly pour this into the other tin. And what this is gonna do, this is gonna create a nice light aeration. And we're gonna chill the drink because we're pouring it right back over top of the ice. Now maybe at some point you've made a Bloody Mary at home or something and you've rolled a cocktail back and forth. Very similar motion. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna barely tip it, get a nice light stream. And the more confident you get, the further away you should get. So, and especially after you after you throw the cocktail a couple of times and it goes over that ice, the ice is colder than the beverage, so the beverage is gonna take a little bit of water content off of the ice, and the beverage is going to get larger, which is really what we're looking for. We're looking for some light aeration. We're looking for some water content in our beverage to lower the proof, considering we just poured fortified wine and 2 spirits into a cup. We do want a little bit of water to drop the proof of the beverage. We're just going to throw this cocktail, and we're going to do it just until it feels right. There's not like a right amount of times that you're going to do this. Now, I will say, you should look up on Instagram, the guys at 50 Mils down in Mexico City, the Four Seasons there. Those guys are absolute pros at throwing cocktails. Like, it's amazing to watch them. I follow all their bartenders on Instagram, and pre-COVID, I mean, they were in there every day throwing cocktails, making great drinks, and just having a general great time. So I know we like to think we're world class here, which I do believe we are, but those guys are, at least when it comes to throwing cocktails, on another level. So once you get a couple of throws in, you'll start to notice some light bubbles around your cocktail. That's when we're going to go ahead and dump the ice. I like to take a glass like that with ice in it to chill it, put it in the freezer for a minute. Just let it get super cold. And then we're going to come along here and we're going to just lightly throw our cocktail into our glass, like so. Just light bubbles. We don't want a crazy amount of bubbles. We don't want no bubbles, just a little bit. Now, here's the trick, all right? We're gonna do a lemon peel. You guys have a lemon in. You wanna take a paring knife or a vegetable peeler or whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm a paring knife kind of guy, solely for the fact that I'm absolutely terrible with a vegetable peeler, and they terrify me. So we're gonna cut a nice looking sliver. Don't worry too much about the pith. I know a lot of people are concerned about pith in their cocktails. If you are drinking your cocktail where the pith is bittering your cocktail, you're doing it wrong. Please drink your drink faster. Or as long as you're responsible, be responsible. But For sure. So we're gonna take a little sliver off one side, we're gonna rotate, we're gonna take another little sliver off the other. Be sure to roll your knuckles and use them as a guide. And then we're gonna cut at a 45-degree angle, right like so. That's more or less what you should get. We're gonna scoot our trimmings to the side, and we're gonna come back to the other side with a 45-degree angle, right like so. Now what you should get is this Tennessee-shaped lemon peel. And you're gonna come to your beverage and just give like a nice light squeeze and take the yellow part of the lemon right around the glass, right like that. And that's just gonna A, express the oils in the lemon, and B, you're gonna evenly distribute those lemon oils as you work it across the glass. So with every sip, you'll get a little bit of that lemon aromatic. We're gonna fold this in half. Take that Tennessee, fold it in half. Nobody likes Nashville anyway, right? I'm just kidding, I lived in Nashville for a while. I love all of my friends there. And we're just gonna cut right down the middle, right like so. And just get like a nice little slit there. And then you can bring your knife right to the glass, very carefully. And we're just gonna put this on the side of the glass, right like a flag. Just a little hello with that lemon. And that's just gonna show up right there. We're gonna take a quick sip. Make sure it's not poisonous. Absolutely fantastic. Let's do this with your tools now. Right on. Let's work clean. We'll work our lemon peels out of the way there, and we'll come back to go ahead and make what you guys got going on right here. So you guys have the tin that you shook your last word in, and you have a solo cup. What we're going to do is we're going to work both of these pieces. So you'll take your vials. Remember, these are 2 cocktails. There's a big thing of spring gin. If you're making 2, just go ahead and pour it in there. Just feel good about it. You and your friend about to have a cocktail. Now, if you do feel like, Matt, I don't know if I can throw a cocktail. I feel this or that about it. I'm nervous. I'm worried I'm going to get it on the floor. I don't have towels to put down on the floor. If I do miss, don't worry. We left you guys a chopstick so you can effortlessly stir your beverage. Or if you just generally prefer stirred beverages to thrones, that is absolutely fine. So we'll just go ahead and add all of our ingredients in here. And there we go. The leg. I just realized that I added double the gin, so these are going to be extra strong. Whoops. Oh well, that's okay. We're going to make it happen. We're absolutely going to make it happen. Add in a little bit of this and that. And what we're going to do, just like we had earlier, we're just going to cover that right up. And we're just going to slowly pour right like so. And you'll see the little bubbles right in the glass. And then we'll release. We'll pour our beverage back in. We will take our top. And it's a little harder, you know, with this, but if you're careful enough and diligent enough, you'll be able to make your drinks right like I did with the tools you were given. Now, of course, as Josh said before, if you do have a shaker tin and you do have a strainer, feel free to use that. But we wanted to make sure that everybody, regardless if they had a shaker tin or a glass to stir in or a bar spoon or what have you, had the opportunity to make these cocktails. Woo. See, that's why you put the towel down, right like that. And then we'll just go ahead and pour our cocktails for us and our friend. Now, let's cut those lemon peels one more time, the way that we did before. So if you missed it the first time, here we go, we're ready for the second. We're gonna go ahead and just cut a nice little lemon peel, right like so. And another nice little lemon peel, right like so. Use your knuckles as a guide. Cut right across, parallel with the peel, both times. Parallel with the peel. And don't forget to work clean. We're gonna take these scraps and put them in the trash. And we'll make a couple 45-degree angle cuts. We'll make our little Tennessee shaped lemon peel. Go in for the pinch. Right down the middle here. Right on the side, just a little hello. It's almost like Bob Ross said, you know, just happy little trees. There we go. I'll cut this one as well. And just happy little lemon peels. I need to cut this one a little deeper. There we go. And now we got vespers for you, my friend, for myself. Cheers, guys. We're gonna tell a couple quick stories about Castle and Key, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. So stay tuned for Josh. Enjoy your beverage, and we'll be right back.